When choosing the proper bow for training, it is very important that the weapon is head height or slightly taller than yourself. It should be a tapered stick of solid oak, a good quality bow, very smooth, waxed finish. Hold it in thirds at all times for proper balance. You'll notice the way his hands are in thirds. That's very important. Now, bows can be purchased anywhere in martial arts magazines or stores. Notice his execution of technique. The bow is held in thirds. Concentrate on this aspect throughout the tape. You need no experience to master the bow as long as you follow along with the proper techniques of this video. Now, your balance is of utmost importance when executing bow technique. So let's concentrate on the stances right now. Follow along as we demonstrate. Zenku stance, very wide. Your rear leg is behind the front. Toes pointing straight ahead. Good, strong balance. The leg is behind so you don't hit your knee on the up-down strikes. Plant that stance down into the ground. Very solid. By moving the bow, you might fall over unless you're in a strong position. This is kokuts, the reverse of the front leaning stance. Concentrate your weight down. Good, strong posture. The horse stance. Knees bent, feet 45-degree angle out, back straight up. Used many times in bow training. And the crane stance. Locking the rear knee behind the front knee. The back leg is up on the ball of the foot. The front foot is turned out 90 degrees. Used very often in thrusting techniques, thrusting into your attacker's solar plexus. And we have a wide open front stance called seisan. These are usually used for cross strikes when we're in this stance. Frontal view, 50% of your weight on each leg. Feet straight ahead, seisan stance. Or front stance. Use your style stance, that's similar. Now, to carry the bow, it requires proper technique, or it can be pulled from your hands very easily, as demonstrated. You don't just dangle it out in the open. Your attacker could come in, grab, take it away from you, and strike you with it. The proper way is to tuck it under your arm, keeping it snug with your elbow. Now, you should have your bow, and you should be following along. Again, you need no experience to master the Okinawan bow staff, kobuto weapon. Again, carrying technique. It's snug. It's under the elbow, into the armpit. Your palm is facing upward. Very hard to pull away from you by an attacker. Every movement has an important reason. You don't just do something for no reason. You carry it so they cannot grab it from you. And this is how you carry it and approach judges in competition before you do your weapon kata, a frontal view. Notice the good strength and form, even in this simple movement. You don't do it lazily. You do it with strength and spirit. A rear view, it's tucked tightly. Now, fundamental striking techniques with the bow staff. This is kobuto's most ancient weapon. The first strike is a stab into the solar plexus, face, groin, or throat. Notice how the lead hand does not move. It guides the bow. Remember this. It's very relaxed and it's just guiding it like a pool stick type of technique. The backhand comes up and it twists slightly, torquing the tip of the bow, turning it into the attacker as it strikes. Your striking hand again. It'll come in, it'll turn slightly inward and back. A slight torque and back. The front hand guides. Shoulders stay down. Snap the bow under your armpit as you strike. In your training, you may notice a degree of soreness in the shoulders because they're used so often and in the hands. That quick, hard snap. Now watch it applied to an opponent from a good, strong horse stance. This would easily knock the wind out of someone, break their ribs, poke into the eyes. That's a snap strike into the groin. Good posture. Good form. Proper technique. This is authentic Okinawan bow, as taught by Master Angiewezu, 7th degree Okinawan expert. One of his top students, Mr. Kim Murray, now demonstrates the bow thrusting technique. You had the snapping technique. Now this is the thrust which drives through the attacker's chest. The hands swing back and thrust out hard, locking under the armpit so no one can grab and take the bow. See how far back the arms go. To get power with such a weapon, you must have momentum behind it. Basic thrust strike from the Zenku stance, or your own style stance, which is similar. Adapt the bow to your system. At the end of this tape, you will know a bow form which can be used in weapons competition and is sure to bring you many first place. Thrust into the face. You can see one strike with the tip of the bow would break the man's jaw or go right through the trachea. Very deadly weapon, the bow. Looks simple, but very effective. In ancient times, it's all they had to fight with, and they could actually hold off a samurai warrior with the bow. Thrust the groin. Now, holding the bow in thirds again, thrusting straight out with the middle of the bow into the solar plex or the throat. If you were attacked on the street, by knowing how to use the bow, you could grab a mop or broom and apply these techniques to defend yourself. Without that breastplate, he'd have his ribs broke and crush the Adam's apple. You can also hook the weapon, as you'll see in a moment, behind the head. Bring the opponent down, apply your knee. Another strike is the uppercut. The back end of the bow will come up, strike the groin, and the top of the bow will come down, crush the skull. Look at the hand motion. Follow along. This is authentic Okinawan technique. Relax the hands as it comes up and come down. Up into the groin. It can also hit them under the jaw and on top of the head. Very quickly. Practice hard, slow and fast. Into the groin, top of the head. Groin, head. Quick, hit them twice. Groin, head. Look at the hand motion. The hands are relaxed and then locked in hard on point of contact. Under the jaw. Smash the jaw, top of the head. Into the groin again. Also, break the collarbone. Come down on the shoulder. Now we have side strikes. These come across, hitting the man to the temples or rib cage. Now, proper technique is very important. Follow as the instructor is doing. See the arm come straight across. The other hand is on the hip for good balance and power. The application. Strike the temple with good form. 1, 2. Application to the ribs. 2 quick strikes, break both sides of the rib cage. All these moves are used in your advanced training drills and kata towards the end of the tape, so you must master them now. Now we have the reverse strike. This will swing from behind your back and strike across. Now, the utmost importance here is the lead hand, the the way it's facing. You must palm the bow. Turn your palm to the striking area so it does not fly out of your hand. Secure the other end of the bow under your armpit with your arm. Now, here's a perfect example of a wrong way to strike. Okay, let's say you're striking at your opponent's ribs. The bow will simulate the ribs. Now, if you strike with the thumb showing, the bow on contact will break out of your hand. So never strike this way. You'll lose control of your weapon. Now, the proper way is to turn the palm at the target. Now you have security behind the weapon. It will not break from the thumb, which is the weakest point in the hand. And be careful, broken bows will fly. Coming down on top of the head. Incorrect strike is to strike with the palm down instead of on top of the weapon. It'll break out of the thumb. Proper way, striking down, turn the palm down at the target. Now the bow is strong, secure. These fine points are what's going to make you an expert. Perfect them. It's the little things that are important. So let's look at that reverse strike again. It can also be a block, but here it's shown as a strike. He went from the head, strike the head, strike the ribs, strike the knee. That bow swings way behind and wraps around your lat muscle. You will notice some bruising around the lat muscle because it does get hit quite a bit, but it has to be conditioned. And after a period of time, there will be no bruises or you won't feel it at all. It will be all muscle. So the bow is actually conditioning your body. Break the knee. Head. Break his ribs. Break his knee. Application. Strike the temple. Strike the ribs with the reverse strike and break the knee. Very powerful. Whip that weapon. It should whistle when you strike. Starting with the bow in thirds. Okay, striking out with the tip of the bow. This is called the extension strike. You're trying to outreach your opponent's bow. That's why you swing it away and hold it at the very end. Swing it out, hold it at the very end. Using it to strike out at the opponent's head. This movement, of course, is in the katas. Follow along. Show good form. You shouldn't be losing your balance. Strike straight across. The opponent strikes to the ribs, but you extend the strike from holding it at the tip and you outreach him and you score. Now the quick snapping strike with the tip of the bow from shoulder height, quick snap, like you're trying to spear. It doesn't take much force to do damage. And when you do apply the right force and power behind it, it's devastating. Strike the eye, solar plexus, groin, or knee. Application. Into the head area. These are very quick, almost impossible to block. Break the top of the foot, very painful. This will put your attacker right out of commission. And of course, striking solar plexus or rib cage. This is a quick snapping motion. This quick snap will break the attacker's wrist, crack his skull, or break his foot as he attempts to kick. Quick snapping motion. The rear end of the bow hitting under the armpit. You'll notice 90% of the strikes will end up under the armpit to secure the bow for a very powerful strike. Quick snapping motion. Now watch the application. Snap top of the head. Very hard to block these quick movements. Snap, break the collarbone. Snap, break the wrist. Disarm his weapon. Man kicks, snap, break his foot. Quickly. Look at it again. Quick motion. Notice the top hand, how he turns his palm down to the target. Remember, always apply this technique. Let's get into the blocking now. Of course, all strikes and blocks can be used as offensive or defensive weapons. First block is a circular block, blocking the midsection or face area. Follow along. Notice the motion of the wrist. Try and perfect this. Wrist comes out and it turns in, torques in tightly. This is to throw your opponent off balance as he strikes with his bow. A circular motion. This circular motion will cause confusion for your opponent. And it's a quick way to disarm him. If he has proper technique, it might be a little harder, but if his technique is weak, you can disarm him quickly. Circular motion, turn that wrist in hard. Again, it might take you a while. You might be very sore in the wrist and forearms because of the conditioning involved, but in time you'll get in shape with this weapon. Notice the motion from a horse stance. Circular, blocking the attack. Quickly. And off this block you can counter with anything. Watch the application. Look closely now. Circular movement throws the attacker off. Without that torque in the wrist at the end, it's ineffective. Torque down. Next block is the push block. The most important aspect here is the bottom hand, the supporting elbow. The elbow should be supported into your rib cage. The top hand is straight across for a good angle of protection. See that elbow, how it tucks into the ribs? Very hard to move that arm. This is what gives this block great strength. Step out in your stance, drive it out. Drive it out. Face that palm straight ahead. See the palm of the lower hand straight ahead, upper hand straight ahead. Always face the palm at the point of attack for support. Elbow tucked in tight to the ribs. Good technique. A lot of power. Application. When the block is out there, it blocks your knee against a reverse strike. It blocks your ribs. And it blocks your head. It offers a lot of protection by just sticking the bow out in front of you. Blocks a hard strike to the side. Now, we have a similar block, but we turn the bow out slightly, blocking the knee. That's the primary area being blocked with this technique. Twist it past your head. Palm out. Frontal view, watch closely. You see, it pushes the attack away from your leg. and leaves you ready to counter with any technique. See how it goes past your knee? Your top hand will cross your face. Very effective leg block. Application. Blocking your knee. You can also use this to strike your attacker's knee. Blocks it away. Gets it way out ahead of the knee. Hard. Strong. Counter. Block. Hit him right on top of the head with the counter. Similar block, but this time we don't cross the face with the upper hand. It stays at the ear. Push the bow away from your knee. Hold the bow in thirds as shown. As you can see, there's a lot of knee blocking. Because a skilled bow attacker, the first thing he's going to go for is your legs and try and break your knee. The attack comes in. Good strong block. And as you can see, after the block, he could counter very easily to the top of the head of his opponent. Notice how strong the stances are. No sloppy movements. To get power out of this weapon, you must have momentum behind it and be in a strong stance. Must exert a lot of strength. Same technique, block, quick counter, and again, and again, and again. Block, watch the counters. Right off the block, break the top of the head, hit him on the head again, uppercut to the groin, top of the head, 2 temple strikes. Now quickly. Excellent fighting combinations. Reverse strike, head block. Reverse strike to the ribs, hitting your opponent, and then blocking his strike to your head. Now we're starting to put some blocks and strikes together. Strike, head block, strike. This is how you build your technique. Start out with simple combinations and then get more advanced as you go. Head block and the counter. You don't just block, you always finish your opponent. Block and break the ribs quickly. Without that breastplate, his ribs would be easily smashed. Similar to the first circular block you learned is the reverse circular block. All you do is change position of the lead hand. Your palm is facing down, and you're blocking and thrusting into the chest immediately. Maybe a knife-wielding attacker is coming at you. You block his thrust, smash the knife out of his hand and into his chest with the bow. Notice the circular movement. Block down, counter. Stepping in, across, block, and stab into the eye. Stepping in, across, block, thrust into the chest. We're adding counters to the blocks. Block, counter. Use your imagination. You've already learned enough techniques to put together block-counter combinations. Thrust into the solar plexus. Block hard, counter. Counter quickly before he counters again. Step across, block, poke. Step across, block, thrust. Slowly. The rear end of the bow comes around, blocks the head, counters into the eye. Blocks your head, counters into the chest. Block your head, into the throat. Block your head, into the solar plexus. Quickly. Good strong shout or ki on execution of the strike. This will give you courage, power, speed. Application. Block the head, finish. Block, break the ribs. Quick snap, break his hand, strike the hand from underneath. Hitting the top of the hand, break it, come underneath quickly, hit the hand again, breaking it. Snap down, snap up. Very tricky, quick technique. Now step back, block the head, counter under into the groin. Block your face, strike under into the groin or jaw. Quickly. Application, block your head, step in, break his wrist, break his jaw. Now, head block, jump, spin away, side block. Try this technique. You're blocking your head, swings at your legs, jump, spin, block. Now, what happens if someone tries to grab the weapon? Step back, snap away, and immediately counter. They grab your weapon, draw back, snap it back, strike, strike. Now, someone, again, grabbing your weapon, don't always depend on your weapon. If it's not available, like this situation, you have to use your karate technique. Use your legs to counter. Front kick, side kick, break the ribs. With him holding on, it adds to your power. Break his knee. Don't panic. Rely on your hands and feet. Take down, strike the throat. Attacker grabs, quick reaction. These training drills are vital. You must follow them every day to perfect this weapon, to build up to the katas. Push block, over the top, break the skull. Push block, over the top, head. Push block. Combining the push block and the head strike. Do at least 5-6 times each way. Do each side of the body equally, left, right. Push. Remember the push block, the elbows into the ribs. Head strike under the armpit. A little more complicated. Knee block. Reverse strike. Over the top, stab. Draw back, block. Follow along. This may look all difficult in the beginning, but by watching the tape over and over, you'll learn very quickly. Two knee strikes. Over the top, 2 side strikes, and then an uppercut and a head strike. Let's look at it slowly. 2 strikes to the knee. Break the opponent's knee. Hit him on the head. 2 side strikes to his temple. Groin, head, and 2 more to the temple. Slowly, 2 knee strikes. Head, 2 temple strikes. Head, groin, 2 temple strikes. And then build your momentum. Try to do it all within 1 or 2 seconds. Don't do it fast and sloppy. It has to be fast and strong with good form. Drop to the knee, break the ribs, groin, head, and 2 rib strikes. Slowly. Turn, meet your attacker, go under a strike, break his ribs, hit him in the ribs, groin, head, and 2 rib strikes. Build speed. Make the bow whistle. Can only be done through speed. Speed is power. If you have great speed, you have great power. This is a thrusting drill, going down the floor. Zenkutsu, crane stance, thrusting hard into the ribs. Snapping drill, down the floor, work it every day. Horse stance snap, crane stance snap. Horse stance, crane stance. Guide the bow with the lead hand, snap hard under the armpit. Blocking drill now. Block a head strike. Block a head strike. You block 3 head strikes, 4 head strikes, and the end is a counter on top of the head. So with your partner, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you counter after the 4th head block. Block the knee. Block the ribs. Block the head. Knock it away. Counter to the head. Knee, ribs, head, block, counter. Block the knee. Block the knee. Sweep it away with the side block. Counter, break the jaw. Work it slowly. Then hard. If you don't have a partner, work it alone. Work both sides, the attacking and the countering. Block a head strike, swing under his head strike, break his kneecap. Very good move. Very deceiving. Now, dip under the head strike, leg block, head block, knock it away, head strike, counter. Now, this is a very special Okinawan bow against bow sparring routine. This is prearranged. It's actually called Bobo Kamite or Bobo Sparring, Okinawan authentic technique. You have all your fundamentals now. You have all your block strikes. You should be able to execute this. With your partner, do it very slowly. Follow each movement. Start. The rear attacker comes in with a side strike. Now, taking it very slow in the beginning. The attacker comes in, 2 rib strikes, you step back, block twice. Block a knee strike, you counter, he blocks your head strike. Block his side strike, you counter, he blocks your head strike. They're pacing. Block a head strike, he uppercuts, you block his uppercut. You jump under his leg strike, block his head strike, thrust a kick into his stomach. Excellent reflex routine. Change grips, reverse down block against his rib strike. Block his knee strike, and he blocks your head strike. Now, black belt Kim Murray strikes the head. Steve Torres blocks. 3rd head strike, he pushes away. Black belt Torres has his last head strike blocked. The last strike is to the head. Sensei Torres blocks it away and counters to the rib cage. You must learn both sides of this technique. Know the attack and the counter. You're a bow length away when you start. And now it's done full power, full speed. They don't know, you must pace, they don't know exactly when the other man's going to come in. So you have to be very alert and perfect these moves. Know them, or you're going to get hurt. This is a very exciting routine for your school's demonstrations, bow against bow fighting. This battle could have taken place 100 years ago in Okinawa. And the victor wins with a strike to the solar plexus. Courteous bow at the end. Now, an excellent piece of training equipment is a heavy bag or realistic dummy as shown. Practice all your strikes on him. This will help you build endurance. You must strike the bag doing rounds, like do 5 3-minute rounds every day. If you don't have the stamina now, do 1-minute rounds until you can build up to 5 3-minute rounds. Strike the groin, head, temples. All your strikes apply to the dummy. He offers an excellent target. This will really let you know if you have proper bow technique, because if not, the bow will fly out of your hand when you're striking full power. Strike groin again. Striking the knee. How can you test your weapon full power but on a dummy like this? You of course can't do it on humans. So this will give you a good scale to judge your strength by. Striking to the eye. Work at full power. Don't only work the weapon, work your kicks in too. Your kicks are always a backup to the weapon. This will help your distance, timing, coordination. And it'll do wonders for your endurance and stamina. Concentrate on the vital areas with good form. Don't just swing wildly. Use proper technique at all times. There's tremendous power behind Sensei Murray's strikes. One strike to an attacker and he's finished, as you can see. Now let's apply the techniques we've learned to realistic self-defense situations. You have a bow against the knife attacker. As he comes in, snap, break the wrist, counter, smash his temple. 2 very quick, fast moves, finish on top of his head. The bow is longer, it can keep him at bay, and it's just as deadly as any knife in the hands of a skilled opponent. Use the bow to block his kick as he attempts the knife. Block that, break his wrist, strike the top of the head. And crush the groin, again, top of the head. All done within a second. Now he thrusts to your face, step back, block it away, break his wrist. Smash his rib cage. Break the neck with the end of the bow. Bow techniques apply to shorter sticks also. He thrusts, you twist block, the momentum brings him down, thrust his chest with a kick, and break the collarbone or neck. Done quickly and realistically. Oh, here we have a situation where this man is minding his own business. What happens here?
What? Give me your money.
That broom is a bow. You see, these instruments can apply to every day, a broom, a mop, anything, and sweep them away. Now we get to the exciting bow katas. Black belt Kim Murray is going to teach you a very basic bow kata that you should start with. First perform full force, and then we'll see it in slow motion. Applying many of the techniques you've learned. Simple, effective, and beautiful to watch. It shows the true spirit of the bow. Now get your weapon and follow. Step out to the left, the at ease position, the formal bow. See how the bow is tucked in properly? Step off, flipping the bow around, head block. Kick to the jaw, down block, rib strike. Snap, solar plex. Head block, kick to the jaw. Down block, strike ribs, snap into the solar plexus. Blocking your knee, stabbing the top of the attacker's foot. Nice deep stance, snap the foot. Side block. Drop down, reverse strike knee, reverse strike knee. You're dropping under the attacker's head strike. Block, top of the head, 2 knee strikes. Top of the head, 2 temple strikes, groin head strike, and step up, head strike, and finish. Formal bow. Always show respect to the judges. Now we're going to show some of the applications of techniques in that kata. The beginning movements. Block the head, kick face. Every sequence is important as to a real attack situation. Block, stab the foot. Remember that movement? You must go back and watch the tape over and over to perfect these moves. Follow along as you do. Now the next series. Simple. Drop under, break the knee. Block, head strike, knee strike 2 times, temple, side, snap, top of the head. That was the last sequence of movements in the kata, applied to a real attacker. Now we get to the advanced bow kata, Tokumini no kun bow, traditional Okinawan bow kata. Much longer than the basic kata, it will truly challenge your bow technique. Perform full power. This kata will bring you numerous wins in tournament competition. going to be looking at it in slow motion so you can perfect each movement properly. Notice the speed, power. Hear that bow whistle. This movement disarms the opponent. Now slowly follow along. Same salutation as the basic bow kata. Formal bow. Catch the bow under your armpit, flip it around. Turn slightly. Take your guard, block your knee. Over on top, hit him on top of the head. Solar plex snap. Horse stance, solar plex snap. Crane stance, solar plex snap. Step back, block your ribs. 45 degrees to your right. Reverse rib strike. To the left, rib strike, block. Uppercuts, temple strike, snap. Directly to the side, push block. Head, groin, temples. And horse stance, snap. Draw back, block. Under the groin, snap. Draw back. Thrusting into the chest of the attacker. 1, 2, 3. Turn around, arc the bow up high on your shoulder, rib strike. Under a head strike, knee strike, rib strike. Block your knee, on top of the head, uppercut, and then side strikes. Snap, draw back, block your rib cage. Head block, flip the bow around, extended strike, holding the tip of the bow out, reaching your opponent. Block your head. Break the rib cage of your opponent, circular block, disarm him, strike to the side, repeat it. Circular block, strike to the side, strike to behind, strike the ribs of the attacker in front, and 4 blocks, and last one, strike on top of the opponent's head. Formal bow. Now, advanced bow kata, the movements apply to a real attack. This brings out the realism of the kata. The beginning movements, block, strike. 3, your opponent blocks 3 strikes, you step back, you block his strike. Next sequence of movements. Step around, reverse strike his ribs. Next series. Go back and find these series and study them. Remember, under the groin strike. Extended strike, finish to the temple. Coming off that, block, break his ribs, circular, sweep his bow away, strike another attacker's ribs. And the last series of blocks and counters. Let's look at the basic bow kata again before you play it back. It's right here. Watch it closely in slow motion. It's performed at normal speed, full power. And it will follow again in slow motion. Very good spirit. You must do your katas with an attitude to win. Show it in your eyes. Basic bow kata now in slow motion. Study it carefully. Look for those fine points of technique. Now let's look at the advanced Tokumini no Kunbo. That's the Japanese name for it. First, it will be performed full power. What we mean by that is the way it should be performed in competition and the way it is. The right speed, timing. This is the exact pace you should be doing it at once you perfect it. If you have no experience, the weapon will be awkward at first, yes. But through daily practice, in 3 months, you should have it down at least 75%. Another 3 months, you'll have it down 100% perfected. You can only become proficient through work, hard sweat. Now let's review the advanced bow kata one more time. It'll be done in slow motion so you can follow. Again, concentrate on perfection of movement. Don't blink when you strike. Don't shake in your stance. Show your power and your strength. Show you have full control of that weapon. Don't let it control you. The formal Okinawan salutation and bow. Give a strong karate ki or yell at certain points. When you feel the power build, add to that strike with the shout. There should be at least 2 to 4 good strong ki-s throughout your kata. Remember, Instructor Murray, he started just like you. No experience, someone had to teach him. Over Over the years and months ahead, you can be an expert in this weapon, just as he is. Train your bow no less than 3 times a week. 5 days is the perfect number, but 3 will still give you the strong technique you need to perfect it. Train 1 to 2 hours a day on this weapon. Go through all the basics. Follow the tape. Once you have them down, then attempt the katas. Don't attempt the katas right away. You'll never get them without the basics.
Yeah.